Hey, it's me. It's animated me. I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and it's time for another episode of Completed It. Movie reviews, pop culture, celebrity guests, and all that good stuff. Oh, and my good friend over there, Sasha Alari, as my co-host. Hey, Satch, hit the titles, brother. Welcome everybody back to Completed It. It's time for yet another movie review. It's a full house today, as you can see. I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and we have many people joining us today. The top left of my screen, as you can see, he's like I said, he's part of the family now. I don't know if Neil, I don't know if we're going to let Sash back in. This dude should have gone travelling. Tim, how are you, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back again and for such an exciting film this time.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Neil, original Neil,
Hmm.
we call you like our guru, our Yoda.
Yeah.
There's someone that's gonna rival you on this episode. For those that can see, honestly, I promise you, what this guy doesn't know about movies isn't worth knowing. Someone that I've been very fortunate enough to meet through attending some movies and stuff this season, Mr. Neil Ragg. Neil, how are you, sir? Great to see you again, brother.
Good to see you too. Thank you for having me back on.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, my friend. I know you are like the world's busiest man, so we're very fortunate to have you join us on Completed It. Boys, we are here to review the brand new Predator Badlands movie. Obviously directed and the screenplay all by the guys and girls that done Prey. So I walked into this thing expecting good things. For me personally, I was not disappointed. I saw this in IMAX 3D. I don't know if I can ever go back to seeing another movie normally again in iSense or IMAX. Honestly, if you haven't seen this movie in 3D, it is one of the best visual movies I've ever seen.
I
Just
didn't realize this was
purely,
out in 3D.
oh my God,
No.
I was so lucky. It's on about two, in my Odin. It's on 2 or 3 times a week in 3D.
Nice.
I've already booked to go and see it again because visually it was like, my God, the fucking Predator is there, and for it blew my mind. I absolutely loved this film. But let's go around everyone and see what they thought. Tim. Predator Badlands, my friend. It's a franchise that split opinions. It started off obviously with the originals with Arnie, and we all know the originals are the originals. Then it took a little bit of a dip off a cliff. We had Alien versus Predator. We had the Alien standalone Alien, which wasn't part of the Predator that wasn't part of the Predator universe. Where
Mm.
did Badlands bring you back to what we know and love for Predator films?
I think they'd already brought me back with Prey. So this wasn't bringing me back to what we love about Predator. I was already back. I was already wanting more from these creators. So I think that this got me in a good place already. But I think what this was exciting for was getting us back on Predator on the big screen. We've had Predator on Disney. I was ready to go to a cinema and enjoy this with a crowd.
Yeah, no, honestly, I can't speak highly enough of this film. Obviously, directed by Dan Trachtenberg again. Patrick Addison was back as well doing the screenplay. Mr. Vag, sir, what did you think of this movie? And you're someone that watches a lot of movies. You know the Predator franchise very, very well. And a lot of people I've been reading online saying for them, Predator, this was the movie. Prey was good. This is the movie that really brought Predator back to the fans. And I mean, it might split opinion. I could already see Neil shaking his head. For a lot of people, this was the movie that I spoke to one of my friends, Chris, and he was kind of like, and he's the most hot, he is the biggest Predator fan ever. He liked it, but for him, he said it was kind of Disney plusified. And does that make sense? Neil, what did you think of the movie?
So I really enjoyed this. I really liked it, but I was very aware right from the start that this is like Predator expanded universe. So I think for people who were deep into all of those Dark Horse comics, all of those years that they were doing the deep dive into the Yautja and trying to explore more of the species, this was probably perfect. I think for the old school Predator fan, I felt I could feel people being disappointed while I was watching it, but personally for me, I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Okay. No, I'm because I wasn't a I've watched all the Predator films, but I wasn't an old school fan from day one. I watched Predator later on in life. Wasn't really something I grew up with. So for me, I'm not new to the franchise, but a lot of my friends who are the OGs were like, "No, Andy, this is the Predator's gone Disney. Predator's good. Predator talks, etc., etc." That we're all going to get into. Neil, I know you're going to have some serious views on this, my friend. The floor is yours. Oh God.
Thought it was just okay. I was not overtly impressed. I think my main takeaway from it is like Mr. Lag said, it it felt it felt Disney-fied. Like I had no problem with the Predator talking. I had no problem with the premise of the movie being like, it's a young Predator going on his first hunt. I had no problems with any of that. I had problems with what they essentially set up because it didn't feel like Predator. It felt like you could have replaced the Predator with any other nondescript protagonist and the film would have been exactly the same. Like I mean like a Predator film it's supposed to be the Predator.
Mm-hmm.
They behave in a certain way all the time. So to come across one that doesn't behave in that way, I was like, I don't know about you.
Uh, we'll say Neil V. I can't keep going Neil 1 and Neil
Yeah.
2. Neil V. Was this a risk from the makers of the film? Because essentially, they turned Predator good. No, essentially, he's a good guy in this
Yeah.
movie. I mean, it turns, do you walk into this film with like a preconception of, no, like Neil said, it has to be, I want it to be a Predator movie. This is not what Predator is. Or do you, like me, I just went in with an open mind. I tried not to read too much about this movie.
Mhm.
And because I'm not of the old school, and I don't mean this like in any bad way, calling anyone old, because I didn't grow up with the original Predators. I went into this movie with going, I've got no problem with him turning Dak good, him going on his first hunt, but then everyone's talking about his buddy, the little sidekick, and you can see why people say, well, this has been Disneyfied. But Neil,
Mhm.
I didn't have a problem with it. Did you have any issues with them changing the character so much? Because they essentially turned him into a good guy, and even in this movie, cracked two jokes. I mean, do you know what? When I was watching this movie, I had visions of Neil there, steam coming out of his head. Predator made a joke. I'm thinking I can already see this review going horribly wrong. But Neil, have you got any issues with the way that they've completely changed the Predator character? If that makes sense.
So I feel so one of the things that I kind of don't have the benefit of anymore is going into anything blind in any way, shape, or form, just because I'm covering it, I'm writing about it all the time. So it's rare anymore that I get to go into something without being probably too informed about it. So I kind of knew really early on that Dan Trachtenberg had said he really wanted to try and show different things, and that's why Prey was kind of his more traditional,
Hmm.
Predator as the stalker, as the antagonist. He'd already taken a fairly big swing with Killer of Killers, bringing it into animation. So with him then having said there was more he wanted to do and do differently, I kind of had a feeling that this was going to be something pretty different. Interesting that you say that you were thinking about the Steam. I was sat next, so I got to go to the premiere of this film. That's a humble brag. But I was sat next to a horror critic. I had a horror critic sat next to me who actually gave it a very fair review. But through I won't name names, but throughout the entire film,
Mhm.
all I could hear next to me was, and in the corner of my eye, I could just see like the head shaking for the entire film from start to finish. And there were a couple of moments where I felt it as well, like um, Bud. Bud has a good purpose for me towards the end of the film,
Mhm.
but for a lot of it, I just kept going, "This is the Mandalorian," which is probably, I think that for me was probably that was my real niggle was when it did go a bit too Mandalorian-esque. Um, but it's so personal and depends on what you're looking for. Like what Neil was saying about it not being a predator that, Deck doesn't behave like a traditional predator. I can totally see why people feel like that.
Mhm.
But at the same time, part of my brain just goes, well, not every single member of that species is going to be like that, are they? Surely, like, they must have scientists to have invented all the technology and to have invented the ship. So are there scientists Yautja out there? And then maybe they do have emo kids. Like, maybe this kid is just a bit emo. But then you can also, within that, see how it's Disneyfied. So I can kind of see all the different perspectives. But personally, I was just interested to see what Dan was going to do. Um, and I appreciate a swing and a miss. Not that personally, I don't see it as a miss, but I prefer a swing and a miss than playing it safe. Like if he had done, completely what we've seen a million times before, I think I'd have walked out of it going, okay, show me something
Mm.
different.
Yeah.
That was going to be
Whether
my
I
next
then
question. Do you
get it
think
or
that it's
not.
good that they've taken this franchise and gone, look, we could make a quote unquote normal Predator movie? We're
Mm.
running around the jungle. He's hunting people. We're on an island. He's hunting people. We're doing, something that we've all seen before. That's why, like, a lot of people say about the Alien franchise right now, there's only so much you can do with a franchise where you have to go, hang on a minute, if we want to keep this franchise going, let's take a risk. So I've had no issues. I mean, look, people are traditionalists, they like what they like, but you can only go so far with certain genres of movie. I think you look at, we mentioned all the time, and obviously we do Marvelous Mondays, but you look at like Star Wars, Jurassic. I didn't particularly like the last Jurassic Park, but I kind of see why they done what they done because they're like, hey, we could just go somewhere and loads of dinosaurs eat people and everyone dies, and then eventually two people get away. And that's Jurassic Park in a nutshell. But the same with the Predator movie. It's like, well, what do we do again? We follow prey and we just chuck everyone on an island or in a jungle. And we go, okay, well, Predator's gonna chase you, and you're like, well, okay, but I've seen this movie quite a few times now. Um, so I don't mind when filmmakers go, do you know what? I'm going to swing at this. I'm going to
Mhm.
have a go, and people will either like it or they won't. This Prey, though, Tim, was this Predator movie. Sorry, was the first Predator movie with not one human character in the
Yeah.
film. Did that surprise you?
Um, it didn't surprise me so much after all the discussion last week about it being the first non-R-rated Predator
Mhm.
film, because that's how they got away with it, by not having a single human getting hurt. But I think it also opened up other possibilities. I think this film kind of tries to delve some deeper themes as well. Maybe it doesn't do them as successfully, but the fact that this is the first Predator film, not just with no humans, but where it's not all about survival.
Mm.
It's actually this theme of emancipation that you've got Deck trying to get away from, the legacy his father is so determined, even at his own death, to preserve.
Demetrius played both characters, the body double of
Yeah,
his
he
dad as
did.
well. Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, he did a great job. But then also you've got Elle Fanning's role as well,
Hmm.
and breaking up with mother. So you got one getting away from father, one getting away from mother, and it that kind of allowed for there to be, a deeper thread throughout that I thought was pretty interesting. But the interesting fact that we're finding humanity in creatures that are not human. So I just thought that was just kind of an interesting, another way that he kind of took a bit of a risk and a bit of a chance on something different.
Neil C, what did you make of the Thea and Tessa? They were part of the Wayland's bio weapons group. What did you
Mhm.
make of that part? Because that was kind of a little sub story going on as well. Obviously,
Mhm.
he finds Thea and they quite Predators making friends, etc., etc. We can get to that bit in a minute. But what did you make of that whole little subplot going on there?
Um,
I bet you didn't like it.
do you know what? I just felt it was kind of undercooked
Okay.
because we got so much how can I put it? So from Thea, we got so much of like, okay, she's like my sister. I adore her. I love her. She's yeah, right? And other than literally um Tessa waking up and being like, "Where's Thea?" That was the only point of concern. And it was literally just like, okay, where's Thea? And then when they meet again, it's just like you're defective. Like, I don't care about you. I was like, well, why were you concerned about where she was if you didn't care about her? Like you didn't know anything about her situation until you found until mother told you that there's a predator, that there's a Yautja on the island
Mm.
or the planet rather, not island. And I felt like that should have been explored more. I thought maybe if it was a situation of we maybe if it was like, okay, mother has like expressly pointed out, look, Thea's defective. So you are gonna toe the line and you're not defective, or you're gonna worry about her and you are defective, and then if you're defective, you know, we got a trash bin for both of you. Like I would have preferred that than just, oh, I love my sister Tessa. I don't care about you. I would have preferred a little bit more, just development towards that. It didn't have to be big. You know, it could have been a couple of lines of dialogue, but I would have preferred that than what we got.
Okay, interesting. Neil and Tim, where did it sit with you that Predator done comedy?
Oh, I'll let Neil take this one first because I got some
Oh,
deeper thoughts on that.
Yeah, I thought you might. I think he done a joke about not walking, no legs at one point, and I think was it Tessa was like, "Did you just crack a joke?" And
yeah.
even in the back of my mind, and I'm sitting in the cinema again, I'm thinking of that dude right down there. I'm thinking, "Oh dear, Mr. Coppin is not gonna like this. Predator is now cracking jokes." Thank God Sash ain't here because I dread to think what he'd be saying right now. But Neil, again? Is this people just judging on what they know? And again, it's Dan taking a risk on, hey, look, I just want to see what this is like. I had no issues with it. I thought it was brilliant. I could again though, two people behind me, or I same as you, Neil. I heard, oh my God, Predator just cracked a joke, and I'm like, oh no, the guy behind me
Mm.
two rows doesn't like it. What did you think?
Yeah, part of me is thinking, oh God, when I tweet about this, I'm going to get so many people come back to me saying things like, "Oh, Predator gone woke," um, which only one person did, which is like a record.
There you go.
Um,
That's good for you on Twitter.
I know. Yeah, but how many people did I then get go, "Oh, why have you ever thought that Predator had horror in it?" I'm like,
Oh, dear God.
Uh,
You can't please all the people all the time, Neil.
it's not an outright horror, but it's got horror in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, comedy was interesting. Yeah, I kind of similar to the overall tone of the film. I appreciate taking the swing. I feel like yes, there is a little corporate aspect of can we see what this franchise can do and how wide the audience can go, which color me shocked it did as well as it did. Because
yeah.
I honestly thought that there was a chance that this was going to come out and the audience, the feedback was going to be, no, don't go see this. This is not Predator. It's terrible. And that the business would drop off over the weekend. So the fact that it's done the business that it's had has really surprised me. So I do feel like there was an aspect of someone at the studio going, can we see what this franchise is capable of?
Hmm.
Which will be interesting to see what they do next in response to
Mm.
this having done quite well. Um, but for me personally, yeah, the humor didn't fully land, but I wasn't against it.
Okay. Yeah, no, mate, I'm the same as you. I was like, do you know what? I don't mind it. Tim, I take it you have other views.
It's not the humor that I thought was kind of a miss on this. I kind of sat down and thought about it when I got home, and the Thea character is excellent. I did enjoy her, but I felt like there were two separate issues. That one is just like a wish list thing, and one is a very different wish list thing. When she said about her sister, I so wanted that to be Dakota Fanning. I just thought it would have been such a wonderful move. Now
Yeah.
I understood why all the
Yeah.
synths, like all the male appearing synths, were all identical as well. So I understand why they were a carbon copy, but it would have been such an interesting moment to just switch to her actual sister. But then, as a separate point, as a disabled man myself, I thought it was interesting to have this character with no legs who cannot walk, and it would have been a wonderful opportunity for a disabled actress,
Mm,
maybe even a
Ah.
double amputee, that
Hmm.
it could have been very easily done, where the scenes with legs were all CG kind of thing anyway. So why not? Why not give an opportunity to someone who could have taken this role in a different way? So it's a
Mhm.
weird thing that like twice through the film, despite liking that character, I felt like they missed two opportunities. But I know that that first one would have been maybe just for a laugh, for a joke. But I still, yeah, that would have got me even happier just to maybe see them push that a little bit more with that character because we're not going to see her return. I can't imagine. So why not do something a bit more bold with the casting?
By the
Okay.
time the legs got into the fight by themselves in the third act, that was starting to stretch what I was able to suspend my disbelief even within this franchise for. Because obviously, when she's ripped apart, it's not like, I mean, I think it would have been worse to have done it, but it's not like those legs were walking around the planet trying to find her. She was, the idea was that she was broken in half and needed to be put back together again. So the fact that she suddenly then had control of those legs and they were, like karate kicking and
Yeah,
defeating
that was a bit.
that that was one of those moments where I thought, okay, I feel like you've taken your idea a little bit too far at this point. I really get what you said about them using a disabled actor, though. That's an opportunity there that is it's interesting that they didn't take that opportunity.
Mm. What did you boys think visually of this film? I mean, like I said at the start, if you can go and see this in 3D, because the fight scene with the brothers at the very start of the movie was literally happening in front of my face. I'm going to be such a movie snob now. I generally don't know if I can go and see a movie that isn't in 3D. I'm gonna, but I come out of that movie and I went on my Odeon app and I saw when it was showing again in IMAX 3D and I booked to go and see it again purely just so I can sit there for the visual. Neil's shaking his head. He always does this to me. But visually, I thought it was incredible. I loved the deep, the dark, the music, the soundtrack. I absolutely loved it. Neil C, you seem to be disagreeing, sir. What have I
I
said now?
no,
Don't you can't get
it's
Super
not.
you
This is
cannot
not.
get
It's not
Superman
on
into this
you.
conversation, by the way. We've been going for 23 minutes. You haven't mentioned how shit you thought the Superman movie was. So you've done well.
Listen, I've got my Hogwarts wand right above me. Don't play with
Oh,
me.
don't.
I it's not against you, honestly. It's just I personally like I don't care for films in 3D. Like I
Dude,
will
no,
actually if
this
I know a
this
film's
this
come
film will
out,
change your mind.
it's not. I mean, look, I saw Avatar 1 when it first came out.
No.
I watched it in 3D. I was blown away, but I genuinely believe that I don't need a gimmick. I think, and even
I think it helped the
as
film.
as exceptional as the technology is, 3D is a gimmick. I don't care about seeing a film in 3D. It's not going to make me believe that this film is any better. I love storytelling. I'm there for the story
You
more
dress
than
up as
anything
green Jim
else.
Carrey in December and just sit there in a green Grinch mask like, for the whole.
Like,
Is this what you
I
do?
have a Grinch Christmas
Yeah,
joke
I don't
already,
doubt that for fucking 1 second.
but I'm serious. Like, 3D it means very, very little to me
Oh, dude,
because
this makes this movie so much better.
I I'm sure visually it probably does, but as beautiful as a visual film is, if the storyline doesn't work for me, the film is not getting high rankings. It's not getting a high rating.
Mm.
Like I'll openly hold my hands up and say, yeah, beautifully made, beautiful, looks beautiful. But look, Avatar is a is a beautifully made movie. It doesn't take away from the fact it's Pocahontas in space.
It doesn't
That's
take
a
away
Right?
fair
from
fault.
the fact that it's shit.
Right. So I was saying with this movie, it looked amazing, but it was just it didn't enhance the film. For me, it didn't enhance the film. It didn't enhance the story. The story didn't benefit from amazing graphics.
I just, for me, maybe because I haven't seen a 3D movie for God, they
Mhm,
don't do loads anymore, especially at my Odeon in Milton Keynes.
mhm,
But for me, that fight scene at the start, and
mhm.
I think that obviously just whatever, and the fight scene at the end, for me, obviously it's IMAX, so the sound's
Yeah.
incredible. For visually, this I love that when I go to see movies. I'm like, I was fully in this movie. I didn't want it to end. I thought it was for me. This is the best Predator film I've seen since the original. I absolutely loved this movie. Hot take, I know it's not, Hot Take Friday's not. We haven't done a few for a while, but maybe that could be one. One thing I did see today, Neil V. Arnie said he would be up if they'd done some more to coming back into the Predator franchise. Is that something that you'd like to see? They've done it in a few franchises. We talk about Star Wars and Luke Skywalker and etc. and how he was in the recent films, etc., etc. Is it something that you would like to see if and Arnie said, "Look, hey, I'm open to coming back." Good thing or bad thing, or do we just now we've done this? If you want to move on, then really move on. If you don't, then you're going to give us a sprinkling of Arnie, and then people like Neil will be like, "Oh, why is he in this? He should have stuck to the originals. Give me my Green Grinch costume, etc." What do you reckon?
I think that's where we're going next, if I am completely honest. So obviously they had that stinger that they tacked on to Killer of Killers,
Hmm.
Hmm.
where you get to see Danny Glover and Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're on ice along with Naru from Prey.
Hmm.
And I mean, the first thing that anyone asked me once they knew that I had seen Badland was, how does it connect? How does it connect to Prey? How the hell does it connect to that scene at the end of Killer of Killers? And obviously there isn't one, and that's the big surprise is this is completely standalone,
Mm.
which fair play to it for being standalone. But I think what we are probably about to see next is like a Killer of Killers where they're going to get brought off ice, and you're going to have Deck, whatever Deck does next. I don't know if it's going to be apologies, Neil, but whether he's going to overthrow the entire Yautja Prime culture and throw the entire thing on its head,
Oh no.
or whether he's about to become more like the traditional Predator and become part of some, arena killer of killers that's going to feature all these characters from across the franchise. At which point, the next one's going to be Predator Endgame, basically. But I think that's because obviously Dan Trachtenberg's now out talking about this film a lot, and one of the questions is there is no connection, but you teased so many connections in Killer of Killers, and he's just kind of like, well, wait and see what we're thinking of doing next. So I think we are heading towards the like complete franchise mashup.
What did you
Which then
boys
begs
make
the
of
question of
the?
why Wayland Yutani? Because are we bringing in a
Hmm.
xenomorph at some point as well?
What did you
Because I
make of
feel
the
like
end
that
though?
is that Wayland Yutani is shoved in your face so much in this film
Mm.
Yeah.
that that has to mean something moving forwards. If it ends up being meaningless, then I think it will be really disappointing. Um,
Mm. No.
so that's the way I see it going next is we're going to deal with all of these characters from across the history of Predator, and then at some point I really hope we then circle back to the idea of Alien versus Predator because I think Trachtenberg could do
Oh, that's
something
a risk.
very good with that. I would like to see his take on that.
That's a risk,
I don't think it is. I agree with
dude.
Neil.
Only
I
because of
think
the shower shit that's come before it.
no, but you know what it is? Here's how I personally see it. Alien versus Predator as an idea is phenomenal. And
Yep.
the
Yeah.
Agreed.
original comic and the
Agreed.
original, I didn't even get to read the original comic. I had to buy the novelization of it. And just reading the novelization, I was like, wow, I need to see this.
Mm.
Yeah.
And whilst the original movie, the two movies that came out of Alien versus Predator, whilst they didn't live up to expectations, they had promise. And, I was like, yeah, you can look at it and be like, okay, objectively, this was not a great film, but they had promise and they had things that they put in there that could very much so be revisited. But I think with someone like Dan, I can't pronounce his last name,
Trachtenberg.
Trachtenberg, yeah.
Trachtenberg. With Dan Trachtenberg, I think giving him AVP works differently because you know what? He could make it, he could have it that it's like an army of synths go to the Predator homeworld
Mm,
because they're hunting after the big monster. Right? If they're hunting that and they send an army of synths there, or maybe they're like, you know what? Like, obviously, we saw the whole kind of digging into the predator's brain and
Hmm.
extracting
yep.
whatever. I was like, why not use that? And they're like, you know what? What does it look like when the predators are the prey? What does it look like when they are being hunted?
Interesting.
I'm like, and what do you have to hunt them? You have synths. Why? Because Whaling, you have an army of them. They're disposable, they're expendable, but they're fully upgradable. You can turn them into like these ultimate killers. And towards your question regarding like, bringing in Arnie, bringing in Danny Glover and that, right? I would like to see an animated form
Yeah.
because like I like Arnold Schwarzenegger will always be Arnold Schwarzenegger. He will always be that like mountain of a man, but age catches up to everyone. And there are going to be things that he is not going to be able to do, especially if you think what was set up in Killer versus in Killer of Killers. What was set up is that he is essentially the same age as he
Yeah.
was
As
in
he was,
Predator
yeah.
In
1.
Predator 1, yeah.
So just make an animated film. You have his voice, him voicing it,
Yeah.
perfect. And you have them there, him in the prime of his life with Amber Mid Thunder, with Danny Glover, them as a team. I mean,
Expendables in space.
yeah. And then, you think, does that include Royce from Predators? Because Royce and the other character they survived. So does that make them do they wind up in Killer of Killers multiverse or
Mm.
Endgame Predator Endgame? Do they wind up in it? I think it's just easier to do something like that.
Okay.
I had the same thought that animation would work better for Arnie for the exact same reason. They just, yeah, no offense to him whatsoever because he is a powerhouse, but
Yeah.
he is not the man that he was in the 80s
He's not
because,
in his early
none of
30s.
us were. None of us are.
Yeah.
Yeah, why do you think I wear a hat? Um,
I got a
what?
recommendation for you though, as well as any of those original AVP comics. Go back to Alien versus Predator: The Last of His Clan, which is a 1993 original Game Boy game. That was my first introduction to the two of them crossed over.
Ooh.
And even, on that tiny square green screen, it was awesome to see the two of them like together on screen.
Mm.
I'll have to check that out. What did you boys make of the end of the movie? And again, I had visions of Neil. Tim, we'll let you go because if I let
Yeah.
Neil take this first, you can go at the end. Tim,
Yeah.
Mother turns up, and that's kind of how it was left. And you're kind of like left in, oh, is this where you see Dak's mother? The ship lands, the movie finishes, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, where are we going now?
I kind of thought that that was a tie-in to Killer of Killers in a way. I thought, is this one of those ships that's been gathering formidable, conquerors from around
Mm.
the universe? That actually, here we think his dad is the worst. He's like, actually, you haven't met my mum yet. And actually, she's the one who's been facing off against others around the universe. Has she been gathering a xenomorph? Has she been gathering humans from throughout time? Has she got some other creature from some other planet? He said his dad was too frightened to take on, was it the Kalisk? But
Yeah.
no one said his mum wasn't too afraid to take on other things. So I kind of took that as that massive mothership was the one with all those other ones from the end of Killer of Killers on it. I could be wrong, but
A
that
great
would be
point.
such a good way to link straight into another film. That, yeah, Trachtenberg said that he wants to do something that no one has done with this creature yet, and no one's done in this franchise yet. Well, I do like this idea of just if we say we've been, beating all the best. Well, what happens when we bring back all the ones that have beaten us, and what happens when they're on our planet? It'd be
Mm.
fascinating. That would be different.
Mm.
Mr. C, I feel you have some views on the end of this movie.
My When I initially saw it and it was like, oh, it's my mother. I did roll. I was like, oh God. But when I like left the cinema, I was driving home, got home, had more time to just sit and think about it. I thought, you know what? You know what would be amazing is if the first time you show on screen a female predator, it is literally the most vicious
Mm.
killer
Oh,
possible. I
mm.
can understand there's going to be some people who are like, oh, that's woke or that's whatever. And I'm like, I don't care. I look at it like this, right? You look at lions. The king of the jungle don't do nothing but sit down and make babies, right? It's
Sound like my
the
next door neighbor.
females of the species. It's the females of the species who are the killers, who hunt and draw food in. Also, you think since we're linking Wayland Yutani, aliens and whatnot, right? The alien queen is the excuse my French, the don't fuck with me of the species. Why not give that to Predator? Why not have it that the Predator Queen is the boss of all bosses, the unkillable, the M Bison, the Shao Kahn of the species, and you have her turn up, and it's gonna sound horrible and controversial, but also I think quite lovely. The start of the very start of the next film is she gets off the ship, she sees Bud, she's like,
Don't say what I think you're about to say.
that looks like a prize. And she basically she deals with Bud in such a way that maybe Bud doesn't die because regeneration and all of that,
Yeah.
but she deals with Bud effectively. So we as an audience are like, yeah, I don't know who's gonna have to deal
She
with
ain't
her.
fucking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Neil, just finishing up. Where are you going with the franchise now? Obviously, we've banded a few things around, but if you were in charge, what would you do?
Um, on the point that you were just talking about, I had to do a bit of a deep dive after that final scene, and I didn't realize it's apparently really well established in Predator kind of extended storytelling, like novels, comics, and stuff, that Yautja Prime is a matriarchy. So the women run the planet in a lot of the extended media. So what you're saying, Neil, is pretty much spot on. The men get sent off-world to do the hunt. The women run the planet itself. So in theory,
Neil, that's not Predator. That sounds like my house.
she
It
could be
sounds
the
like most
queen.
houses.
Yeah.
It sounds like most houses.
But yeah, in terms of where it goes, where I would take it next, I kind of want to see the really vicious Alien versus Predator.
Hmm.
I want to see the I want to
Kind
see the
of get it
version of
right,
Alien
kind of
versus
thing.
Predator that we've all wanted to see
Yeah.
and hoped that those original two movies would have been. Um, I am it's made me really want to go back and go through loads of the comics that I've not read because I now want to know how much of that culture is has been written about before that I've just missed. Um, so I'm just kind of interested to ride the roller coaster and see where Dan takes it if he stays with the franchise much longer. Because it seems like he's kind of capable in taking it in any direction and it will be successful. Whilst it might alienate parts of the audience, it seems like he has brought it to an entirely new like level of fandom. So I'm just sort of intrigued to see where this goes because I don't feel like
Does it go down the TV series route, do you think?
No,
I
Just
mean,
no, 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 no,
He
look,
no.
won't. He
Yeah,
won't, but Disney will.
that's what I'm thinking.
yeah. I mean,
Disney
so I
will take it
don't
that
know
way.
about you guys, but I enjoyed Alien Earth to a
Oh,
degree.
I loved it.
I'm still not entirely sold on the ending if they don't make another season of it. And I am surprised by the way that the lead ends up being able to communicate with the xenomorph, and I would like to know why they went that direction. But I was intrigued and enjoyed what they gave us of the world building. But I don't know that that would work as much with Predator. I don't know the angle, but maybe it's because I've just not thought about it enough. But I
Mm.
don't know that
This
Predator could
seems to be
work
the
as a
world we
show.
live in nowadays, doesn't it? It's like, oh, let's just make a TV series. And everything nowadays is like, let's just make a 10-part TV series. You're like, oh,
Well,
okay,
it's just
well,
because you need content that you need content that will guarantee you more than a month's
Mm.
subscription.
mm,
You think if you do it one episode a week for 4 episodes, you get 1 month subscription.
mm,
Whereas if it's 10 episodes, that's at least 2 months.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry, I I'm not opposed to making a TV show of anything. You have a film or a franchise, I'm not opposed to making a TV show of it. I'm opposed to making a TV show of it for the sake of subscription. Like,
Mm.
if the story genuinely means it needs to be told in long form format, i.e., a TV show, go ahead. I was
Yeah.
good with Alien Earth for like the first half of the show. Then the second half, I was just like, you're stretching things out. Like you've clearly run out of material and you're just like, make this scene longer, make this scene longer, make this happen, because it was like, okay, yeah. And then we're having a season two. All right. I promise you I will not watch it until every episode is available on Disney Plus.
Mhm. I'm doing that with Derry at the minute. I'm waiting for all of them to come on, and I'm gonna hit all of them. I'm hearing good things about that, by the way.
Mhm.
Boys, just last question. Let's go around the room. Where does this movie sit in the entire Predator franchise? Tim, I'll come to you first, mate.
There are a few that are in the dumps, so this already puts it up into the top third. But for me, it's still behind Prey, because I think Prey was just such a pared back story that
Hmm.
I think there's still a strength to that one with its simplicity. But it's still up there because there have been some absolute turds.
Very true. Neil C, what about you? Where does it sit?
I think it sits safely in the middle of all the Predator films because it's not the Predator, the film that came out with Sterling K. Brown and those lot in it. It's not that, but at the same time, it's not Prey and it's not Predator.
Mm,
It's a good enough film that it's it's worth watching.
yeah,
But if you are a deeply devout fan of this franchise and you've read every scrap of literature and you've watched every piece of footage, then chances are you may not love it. You may enjoy it, but you may not love it.
that can be said for a lot of movies nowadays. Though there's
It
so
can.
many like franchises that are still out there, and a lot of people after Endgame were like, "Yep, I'm done. I'm not watching anything that Marvel do." I still know people to this day. A couple of my friends are like, "Nah, didn't like anything that they've done after it." They're like, "I'm gonna go and see Doomsday because that's Marvel to me."
Mhm.
Everything in between, they've been like, "No." They're like, "Oh, what's your Marvelous Mondays, Andy?" But that's because that's prime Marvel. But as soon as you get to Endgame and you're done, I'm probably not even going to tune into your own YouTube channel. These are some of my best friends telling me this. Um, Neil, where does it sit for you, my friend?
Tim said it perfectly. I think it sits in third place on my ranking on Letterboxd as well. It's a little bit behind Prey and the original Predator, but it's one of the better ones for sure for me. Definitely.
I'm going to put it as second. The original Predator for me was incredible. I love it and always will. This for me, and I know you're going to hate this, Neil, but seeing this in 3D added so much to this movie for me. I'm one of them. I'm that guy that if I'm visually and I'm everything around me, I was in this movie. I could have had 50 people sitting next to me. I wouldn't even know they were there. I was immersed in this film. Didn't want it to finish. This is the most fun I've had at a Predator movie in donkey's years because there have been some bad movies. I hated Alien versus Predator. I thought it was terrible. I didn't mind Prey; it was okay, but for me, this is set in second. I really do hope that they make another one, and I hope that Dan keeps hold of this franchise and takes it places where I think that he potentially could take it. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. But if you can go and see it in 3D, maybe not you, Neil, but everyone else, go and see it in 3D. But Neil V, thank you so much, sir. It's been a pleasure having you back on with us, my man.
Thanks
Tell
very
our
much.
viewers, listeners, where they can find you, what you're up to these days. You're like literally the world's busiest man. Things you can tell us,
Yeah.
probably things you can't. But where can they all find you, mate?
So if you want to find me on social media, I'm at Neil Vag on all platforms. If you want to find my stuff, my review stuff like that, it's at Get Your Comic Con or getyourcomiccon.co.uk. Yeah, I'm heading to the premiere of Stranger Things season 5 this week, which is going to be really cool. Going to get to see an episode up on the big screen, which I'm really excited for. Just as we are recording this, the embargo is lifted on The Running Man, so I finally got to talk about that, which I saw last week, and get my thoughts out on that one. So yeah, we're busy. There's lots of cool stuff going on at the moment.
Mhm.
Awesome stuff, mate. Keep up the great work, man. It's been one of my highlights of 2025 was getting to become friends with you, mate. Love people that love the passion that you have for movies. It's infectious, mate. So keep
Thank
doing
you.
what you're doing. Tim, what you
Appreciate
got
it.
coming up, my man? What's happening on the podcast?
We're hopefully going to do some recording this week. We got some thrilling films to go through and catch up with some that might have some Oscar chances, might not. We're going to find out. So that's me and my wife on This
Hmm.
American Wife.
Yeah, check out this American Wife podcast. Original Neil, Sash is back soon. We're going to be back as the three soon, my man. He's finally got
I
back
mean,
from
look,
taking terrible selfies.
that voice note was enough
Ah, the
to make
voice
me
that he
think
put.
we're gonna get chewed out.
Yeah, for those that listening, for those that are watching, Sash left us a voice note. We got into the whole discussion about Spider-Man and Sony
Mhm.
and being on Disney Plus. He sent us the longest voice note.
He sent us two. He sent us
Two.
a 4 minute one and a 2.5 minute one,
Yeah, he was.
chewing us out about our belief regarding Spider-Man being on Disney Plus permanently.
Neil, really quickly, Neil V, what do you think we'll ever see Spider-Man on Disney Plus?
Oh, yeah, because it was, right? It was
Yeah,
there for a
Yeah,
little
it
while
it
and
was
was.
when?
Yeah,
when
it was
when
on
No Way
Netflix.
Home.
Yeah, it was on
I think it's
Netflix.
gonna, yeah, it's because it's not owned by Disney. I think it's gonna come and go as deals
Yeah.
happen. The way that Warner Brothers stuff zips around the UK at the moment, and the way Paramount stuff is always dodging around as well.
Mm,
Like, can I keep up with where Star Trek is on streaming in terms of movies? They're all over the place. They're
mm.
on Netflix one day, they're on Paramount Plus the
Paramount,
next day, they're on
yeah.
Prime the next day. I
Strange
think it's
New
going to be
Worlds,
like
by the
that for a
way.
while.
Yeah.
Strange
I
New
mean, look,
Worlds, Star Trek,
all I
incredible.
can say to that is that Jaws is on Disney Plus, and Jaws has been on Disney Plus for a good while, and Jaws is a Universal film. So,
It's also a crap film.
would you say?
Sorry. Anyway, we'll end it on that note. I didn't like Jaws. I'm really sorry. I thought it was terrible. Really bad film. Didn't like it.
You're
I'll
getting a
take
voice note.
22 minutes. Neil sent me a 22-minute voice note. Boys, it's been amazing to sit down and talk Predator Badlands. We're going to be back with more movie reviews coming up in the next days and weeks. We've got Running Man. I'm off to see Now You See Me. Is it Now You See Me? Now You
Yeah,
Don't?
now you don't.
Yeah, I am off to see that. I think so. As we sit down recording this, I think I'm going to go and see that tomorrow. So, yeah, we've got Marvelous. Our next Marvelous Monday is Thor Ragnarok. Then we've got Black Panther, which Tim kindly joined us for. And then we hit Infinity Wars, which I cannot wait to break that one down. But anyone that wants to check out our content, go onto YouTube, type in Completed It Podcast. You can find us on Twitter. Yep, I still call it that as well, Tim. You can find us at Completed It Pod. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. Really enjoyed this one. Till next time, everybody, stay safe.